All right, April week 3, we are getting started. Last week was a really good one. If you guys have been following along, we had some massive buys on the euro that we predicted, but we have some more information regarding the euro this week that we want to get into economically and that New Zealand dollar. Let's roll the intro. Let's talk about it. What's up, guys? Let's get into these markets. Welcome back to the channel. It's your head trader Cleveland here. 921 US session has yet to open up. It is Tuesday. All right. Yesterday I had a little family emergency, so I didn't get a chance to push out any content for you guys, but thankfully we didn't have too much action. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, please make sure you guys subscribe. We break down all the fundamentals for every single aspect of the market, our 8 major currency pairs. Okay, so excited to have you. And if you like the video, if it helps you out, which has been helping a lot of folks out, make sure you like the video for your boy. I very much appreciate it. All right, so let's do a quick recap. Okay, last week, April week 2, we had a few trade ideas that we thought would work out. Here's the thumbnail of that video last week, basically insinuating that we were looking for some massive euro buys. And folks, last week was the largest euro buy move that we've had in 2019. All right, here I'm gonna roll the tape on what we're looking for the euro USD. Take a look at this. Folks, we want to see more euro strength. I'd love to see a tremendous amount of euro strength, and if we get that, then for sure we will start to have some action here on that euro USD. So as you guys may know, if you were playing that euro in any capacity, I'm pulling it open over here. We had a pretty decent sized euro buy last week. We're looking at the euro, folks, at the low of 2019. I'm trying to get to a good chart here to show you guys what we're talking about. Okay, literally euro last week was sitting right around the $1.12 flats, $1.12 lows, and we ended up breaking outside of this consolidation here, which is right on the $1.12 14s, and we raced all the way up at one point up to the $1.1350. Now we fought just a little bit of US dollar strength. Here was a comment mentioning that someone said, hey, I think the euro was going to be pulling back in some capacity, and then I replied saying, only reason that we're afraid of the euro USD in any capacity is because of some dollar strength that might pull that market back just a little bit, and that's exactly what happened, right? And then we had someone else mention, how did you know on Monday that all this positive data for the euro was going to come out on Thursday and Friday? I'm going to post that comment here as well. And it's not that we have some kind of, magic ball or magic formula that we use inside of the academy. Most of our members had this same idea, the same trade idea for the euro as well. It's really just about how we anticipate more or less market sentiment to be a factor when there's not too much fundamental data coming in that specific week. And you guys got to remember, market sentiment is like the thought process or the underlying feeling of where market participants think the market's going to go outside of the fundamentals. Okay, so you mentioned something about a Japanese country bought a European country. That has nothing to do with capital flow. So I know you mentioned that in the capacity of that's why the market ran on Thursday and Friday, but that had nothing to do with the market running on Thursday and Friday. All right, when it comes to currency movements, you guys got to understand this is a massive market, right? There's trillions of dollars of capital flowing back and forth on any given day, right? So what you need to have trillions of dollars of capital being infused into one particular asset, you need to have capital flow. All right, and capital flow is this very, very dominant factor that makes markets go in a direction, right? So we have something coming out about interest rates. You guys got to think, if you have an interest rate increase of 25 basis points, then for sure you're going to have many different market participants looking at that specific currency and saying, wow, for every dollar I have in that specific currency, I'm going to be able to get 0.25% more on my money if I hold that currency overnight. Okay, that's a capital flow that would infuse capital into that currency, specific currency. But again, something like buying a Japanese bank and sometimes even commodities like gold increasing is not going to directly raise the Australian dollar. There are trade flows that have high correlations with the actual currency movement, but that's also, again, dependent upon how tied that commodity is in that specific currency, like the Canadian dollar oil correlation that we oftentimes see. All right, so again, we don't have a crystal ball, but we have a very solid methodology in anticipating price moves. It obviously works. We're now 8 for 8 when it comes to our trade of the week. So if you would have taken every single trade, again, hypothetically, if you would have taken every single trade that we have taken that we have mentioned, saying that this is the one we're looking for over the past 8 breakdowns, every single one of them would have hit profit, and 3 of them we actually trailed stops to have over 200 pip runs on those specific positions. We also called out a position last week on the Aussie JPY, mentioning we wanted an Aussie JPY break to the upside. We've been waiting on that position for 3 weeks. It finally hit off last week. Take a look at our commentary on what we wanted to see from that specific currency pair.
And we would like to see just a tad bit of Aussie dollar strength.
And if there's orders at that price level, specifically right here at, let's see, this is 79 yen for 1 Aussie dollar. If there's a particular amount of orders at that price point, eventually those orders are going to dry up. All right. The more that level is tested. So those market participants that are looking to sell right there at that level, eventually they're all going to be in the market, and then boom, we're hoping for that push outside of that level. All right. Okay. So pretty simple. The move was a breakout of that specific high there. And if we pull over to the AUD JPY, you guys can see that we have accelerated outside of that move fairly quickly. Now, there were some of our guys in the community that actually got an early entry on this pair because of this massive little gap situation that happened a few days prior to the actual breakout. So if I come over here to the 4-hour, you guys will see a gap right here. So notice we see a gap in price here in terms of this gap for the JPY getting a little bit weaker, but we ended up filling that gap, and some of our guys love to play the gap fills. It's a pretty common methodology in the space, but we were able to actually execute on that because our overall objective was to go long. So when you see a gap, you want it to be filled, and then you want it to break to the upside. That's 100% what happened. So you had some folks that were able to score over 150 points on this specific move. If you got just the breakout at the area that we were mentioning in that specific video, then you'd still be up right around 100 pips in this specific currency. Now, where's the target? Well, some folks are already out because our target was this previous 61.8% fib here. So if you're able to get in early, well, then you could liquidate a little earlier because you were able to get those extra pips based off of the gapping situation. You were able to get those 50 extra pips because you saw the opportunity of the gap fill. But if not, technically you're still sitting on your hands. I still have an objective that we will see this 61.8 hit flush, and it may even continue to trade higher to the upside. But for right now, that one is done and dusted. That trade worked out. Again, we've been talking about that one for 3 weeks. Go back 3 Monday market breakdowns ago. You will see us talking about Aussie JPY buy. All right. But what are we looking at this week, right? We know that's the past. Wanted to catch you guys up on exactly what's been going on. If you guys, again, are new, this week we have some new information that's obviously pertaining to market. Something that we didn't mention last week was this new Brexit situation where now Brexit, you guys got to remember, March 2nd was the deadline, right? We were talking about March 2nd back in Q3 2018 saying Brexit deadline March 2nd. If they don't hit it, oh my gosh, you know, who knows what's going to happen? There's going to be a no deal, all these things. Then it got pushed back into a deeper March. Then it got pushed back into April. And now Brexit has officially been pushed back to October 31st of this year. Okay, so there's a 6-month now delay on what's going to happen with Brexit. I think that that's going to give us an amazing opportunity to actually buy the pound, because you guys got to understand, if there is a deal that happens, there's a lot of risk that comes onto the table, but this delay may entice more people to say, hey, there's not going to be a deal. There might be some optimism that grows regarding Brexit, which may push us to the upside. A trade that we've been, again, talking about since January, week 1, we have been the biggest advocates for a pound buy, and it was our biggest trade in January and in February. Recently, we've been catching a lot of the JPY in March and in April. But right now we may be switching back over to looking at this pound as a massive opportunity based off of the new facts that literally just came in last week. So if I pull over and show you guys the Euro GBP, for example, this is something Kyler's been looking at. You can see that there is, some consolidation here. This is the daily. If we pull out a bit, you guys will notice, again, we're still holding these highs. Okay, we're still holding these highs to a really high capacity. So if I was to draw up the fib here, we've almost seemingly hit off on a retest at this point. I want this little text field to go away. We're almost retesting this previous low. So that is the only risk in my head from a technical perspective. We may see a move back to the upside there. But then after you get that pullback, which would again insinuate maybe a little more euro strength or a little more pound weakness before we get the massive amount of pound strength that we're looking for, you may get a little bit more of a flush retest and then that market to pull back down in the structure. But this is really the trade that we've been looking for quite some time. You can also look at this pound over on the GBP AUD. We did have Australia cut some growth forecast recently, so that might add up to the Australian dollar again getting weaker at a higher capacity than your other pairs relative to the pound. Right, so relative to the pound, since we're looking at the Australian dollar to maybe continue to sell off, this may buy in to this idea that this Aussie dollar could continue to be pushed to the upside. So again, this is a weekly. If I pull over and show you guys what we're looking like on the daily, it'll make a little more sense. We're seeing a lot of sell side coming in right now on the GBP AUD. If I draw open a fib from the low to the high, you guys will see that we're right here at that 38.2. Pretty interesting price area. Here you guys go. This is what we're looking like from if you stretch it over from a Fibonacci perspective, again, you're sitting here. You know, it's not the best price structure at the moment. It's really just looking at it from a fundamental perspective. We don't have the technicals adding up perfectly to say, hey, this would be an amazing thing to continue to, to get in on. If I have to say what I would really be looking for, it would be amazing to see markets hit off on that 50% retracement level before we get that pop back to the upside, just based off of all the ancillary variables, around this current market right now. And then obviously, if you guys are in the academy, we're going to be doing continuous updates on everything regarding the pound, so you can look forward to that as well. So that's where I'm at with the pound. We want to see a little bit more upside. I want to cut this video short. I don't want these to go over 10 minutes anymore. I want to show you guys now what we're looking at for the NZD CAD. So this was called out by Natalie, one of our top traders inside of the academy. She's been with us since 2017. She's amazing at catching pretty awesome opportunities. But yeah, so if you guys look again here from a weekly perspective, you guys can see that the market's accelerated to the upside, consolidated, and now we're pulling back a bit. We know exactly why this market moves to the upside. We know exactly why it's consolidated. So we know all the variables that have pushed this market to the upside, and we're still seeing more upside. So right now, again, NZD CAD is something else that we're looking at this week specifically to see a break to the upside, and then maybe we can catch some of that accelerated move. So we want to see a little bit of NZD. We want to see for the short term a little bit of NZD strength, and we do want to see for the short term a little bit of CAD weakness. We just have some of our resources that are telling us that that is where things should go. All right. So if you guys need any help in that capacity, this is what I'm looking for. Trade of the week wise, there's a lot of stuff going on from an economic basis. If you guys have some questions about that, comment below. We can go back and forth on some of the things that we see happening economically this week. NZD, again, we want to go a little bit deeper in NZD. I might push something out there this week about NZD and the Kiwi and what's happening in that economy. We're seeing a lot of things slow down. We're seeing some Euros growth forecast slow down as well. There's so much going on. But let's see what happens here with the NZD CAD. If you guys got questions, again, let us know. If you guys want to get inside of the Top Trader Academy, it's there for you. We're seeing a lot of guys killing it that are coming in the past few weeks or so. Really excited about that we can actually see progress and actually see our traders getting results based off of the fundamental knowledge and information that we provide over there. So get it started if you guys would like. It's a free trial. Let me know if you guys need anything. I'll talk to you soon.